Good morning, everybody. It's Marty, the JavaScript party. My buddy Rhett got her a nut. I didn't crack it as much as I usually do. It's a walnut. Didn't crack it as much as usual. I did put a crack up there. We'll see what happens. Here you go, girlfriend. There you go. So, this is going to be video 200 in this web series. Yeah, we didn't get a whole lot done. I mean, really, we have some interesting things, like you can add a visualization and then you can kind of change the way you view visualizations, and you can delete a visualization, but you can't update a visualization yet. And for every feature I work on, I want to have 100% unit test coverage afterwards, which is taking a lot of time, a lot. I think it's taking more time to do unit test coverage than it is to um, actually write the code. And I don't think that's unusual. I don't think any place that, like, if you go anywhere where they do more than like 50% coverage, I think most developers will say they spend more time on linting and unit testing than they do on, um, and then if they're TypeScript strongly typing, than they do on coding. Um, and I don't know what I think of that. I really don't. I definitely go back and forth sometimes. Especially as these things were introduced, I just hated them, absolutely hated them. Then there'll be times where I like them, and like the linting. The nice thing about linting is it makes commits a lot easier to like keep, where you only see actual changes to code as opposed to styling changes, which is really cool and probably the best argument for linting that I've seen, because if there's one thing that can consume a ton of time, it's Git conflicts. Um, Unit testing, I'm able to do 100% unit testing. I do not think that I would be able to do 100% if there was like two people on the team. Things just get pretty wacky pretty quick once you start getting multiple contributors. I think 100 another thing that has been interesting to me is that, like, the unit test I don't think has helped the actual quality of the actual application, but I do think it's helped me become a better developer. Actually, I'm confident it has, and made me a much more confident developer. And so it's been really good for me. I don't think it's been very good for the project, um, but almost all the benefit. Like, if we were going to say that, let's say I would say that 90% of my personal benefit from unit tests have come in the last 10% of unit testing. And probably of that 90%, 90% of that has come in the last 1%. Like as we were working through the unit tests, that last unit test I learned so much on, and the last five I learned so much on. The ones before that I was just like, okay, yeah, write the test. No big deal. But um, yeah. So, anyways, so I'm on the final stage of unit. I mean, of a of completing a feature, the delete feature, and it's to update my end-to-end tests. So updating with any testing, really, all the testing that I know. Well, we'll say that, I don't know. Did she get it open? Oh yeah, she did. She got it open. Um, with all the testing that I have worked on, generally there's sort of three stages. The first is to get all the existing tests to pass. Then the second, and try to understand what's going on. Then the second is to um, like write out your new unit tests or your new tests, and then finally make sure that they all sort of work with all the rest of the initial tests. Those seem to be like kind of the big three phases of work that come from testing. But with Cypress, since I don't do it that often, I was doing a lot at work, but lately I haven't been able to do it. Um, npm run Cypress open, and I will say that I have found, like, I integrated my Cypress application in with this application. I don't think that's a good idea. At work, I made it, since I'm not, this is sort of a thing I'm just kind of doing on my own at work. Um, I didn't make it part of the application that we do, and it's in a whole separate project, and that is working so much better than having it as part of the project. Um, I would not do that again. And also the Cypress, having it in there, it's not this isn't a criticism of Cypress at all, but it's just sort of a, a something I just noticed, an observation, is that with it uses a different version of TypeScript than my Angular 19 application did, and so the problem was um, they both in my packages they both share the same TypeScript setting. So they got out of sync, which never caused an actual problem, but I could definitely see it cause a problem, and it would be if it was problematic, man, would it be a very difficult problem to fix. All right, so if I remember yesterday morning before work, I was looking at this, and my and my unit tests are not passing, and it seems to have something to do with the way um, it seems to be like sort of a possibly, I believe, could be wrong. I don't have super confidence in this, but I believe it's sort of an internal to Cypress in how it behaves if you tell it to get one if you tell it to like select on on something and there's only one of them, it behaves a little differently than if you select on it and there's multiples. That is something I'm going to have to figure out. And I think the way I want to figure that out is by adding a different way to select. And then another observation I would say, and this round may prove to be different, but I have severely underestimated how much time unit tests were going to take every single time. Every single round, I thought, okay, I've changed things. It's going to be quicker now, and it does, and it's longer and longer and longer. And to be fair, I am sort of demanding more out of myself on unit tests every time around. As I notice things, I'm just so tempted to just dig in and do more and more stuff. Um, I have severely overestimated with Cypress. Every time. It's gone a lot faster than I was expecting. We'll see this time, since we have a bunch of breakages, since basically 4 out of 6 tests are broken. Um, we'll see if that is still the case. But I'm pretty sure this 002 viz is broken. So the first thing will be to try to just figure out how to fix it. And then the next thing will be to, maybe figure out a good way to um, should load menu layout, click, and table rows. Homepage video. Oh, okay. So that sounds right. So here I believe it breaks. Yeah. And so could only be called on a single element. Okay, so that actually makes this. So when I read this yesterday, it sort of went over my head. But today, after a night, I see can only be called on a single element. Your subject contained 2 elements. Pass multiple true if you want to serially click each element, which that's pretty cool. I don't want to serially click each element. It looks like what I want to do is actually just click the first element. So I'm wondering, and it's been a minute since I've done this, so I don't quite remember exactly how to do this. One thing I don't like about the scheme that I'm doing right now is that I like my commits to be smaller, but since I want my commits to be like 100% tested, that has sort of messed up that sort of goal. And that happens all the time where you have like goals and you start adding more goals, and then next thing you know, like you have conflicting goals. I think it's in here. Yep, there it is. So I think we could fix this by can I do this? I don't know. Well, maybe. Let's try it. I think it'll just run on its own. I don't think that's the answer I want to do. I think in retrospect, I can see why I made the mistake, but we don't really want to get the we don't really want to operate on this stuff because honestly, these things can change, and this could break our whole desire. Uh, Maybe I should do like this. Onst button equals, and then button click. I might have to go to ChatGPT. And that's pretty, like, it's kind of nice, having, did it, yeah, so that didn't work. Okay. Let's go back to the original. So ChatGPT is a pretty new thing in my career. I've been coding professionally since 1996, but I started coding in like 1979. ChatGPT has not been, for the span of my career, ChatGPT has not been around very long. So I'm still getting used to using it, but I do think that, like, I don't think that, like, I think it would have taken me a couple years to come up to speed on Cypress if without ChatGPT. And now I'm able to come up to speed and actually make useful things in, like, I was able to do it in days instead of years. Um, so I have this code and it used to work. It'll be interesting to see if it like instantly recognizes that, oh, it's broken. Test Okay, so it didn't actually. It was kind of cool how it did that, but it didn't actually. Um, the error says that I am getting multiple matches. I did add another button. I was just curious if it would have been able to figure it out. Oh, thanks. That explains it. Oh, first. Or equals and, oh yeah, I've used that one before. Or contains the text. So those are all really good. This is the actual solution I want though. So, but I do want to just double check that I think this one would work. This would solve the problem. This is not good enough. This is not, I'm not comfortable with it though, I guess is best. It's good enough, but it's not, I wouldn't be comfortable with it. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay, yeah, so now it's working. So what we want to do is its suggestion down here, which was already what I was thinking of, was to add something like that. A data tag. That's so freaking nice. And so what we want to do is come in here and we want to go to our actual code. So we're going to modify our code for the tests, which that used to be a real hang up for me, but it's not anymore. Let's just see if we can sort of navigate to it. Layouts and viz. Guessing it's an app menu. And it's this guy, and it's this button. It's kind of crazy that it knew. I think it Maybe people, when they're doing CRUD, automatically the first one they add is the delete, and then that's where it breaks. But it's like we had this reflow, we could not guess that, and we didn't add delete in the same with next to add because add adds all of them. But and so now I want to, instead of this, we want to do it like this. Just I think a much better, much better solution. Now I will say that like I've seen so many people try to go up the sort of become QAs, and they're sort of they learn to do like manual QA, and then they try to move over into writing automated tests and stuff. And I would say that that doesn't normally work out for them because they, as a side effect of becoming a developer, you generally learn whatever you have to learn the source control. Learning that source control system, which in most cases is Git, is no simple task, and it's a task that's easy to screw up. And if you're going to, I think to be an effective automated test developer, um, you have to be able to check things in and be able to commit things and not screw everything up. Um, and that's going to be tough to defend yourself. Um, like when things get screwed up, it's going to be so easy for them to for the development team to blame you when for everything. Every time anything goes wrong, oh, the QA developer went in and screwed up our code again. Um, and if your manager won't be able to defend you because they don't know Git and all those things either. So it really is sort of a path that's going to be difficult to navigate. So we want to select things like this from instead of like that. So it is funny that this one worked. Get app menu. I guess I must have named the other menu something different. But anyways, so I'm assuming keyboard is the same problem. Now what was weird is the keyboard broke. Was this it? App menu item? Button, yeah. I think that'll fix keyboard. Now I don't want to, it would be the most tempting thing in the world right now to decide, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change this for all of them. And then all of a sudden things are broken and you're like, I don't know why. Did I? That was the one, okay, what? Mouse focused. Get button map menu item. Oh, this is screwed up. I guess it wouldn't compile or something. All right. This is what it says. I think it says it's on line 5 because it's probably removing all the empty space in the comments. Like over here, it's not showing us with the context of that. It'd be nice if it actually gave you the actual line. I get it though. All right, so what do I have in my clipboard? Okay, so I want to replace that whole line with this. And let's come back over here and see if we have any luck. Oh, did I? Oh, I just changed keyboard, not spacing. Okay, so keyboard is fixed. I don't know how I ended up skipping O3 spacing. We just want to replace this entire line here. Looks like we want to replace it twice. And I mean, I'll tell you, I had like at work, I work on a lot of applications, and I have one application that I haven't done any end-to-end testing, and like it is crazy how much more stressful it is to work on an application that you don't have end-to-end testing on. Like people tell me that they get a lot of like 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 it's a lot less stressful to code when they do unit testing. I do not find that to be the case at all. Um, I feel like the unit tests have a life of their own. They have a purpose of their own. They have a life of their own. Just because things work in unit tests doesn't mean they're going to work in your application. Just because they work in your application doesn't mean they're going to work in unit tests. It's just a whole different thing. And I definitely am not saying there's no benefits to it, but I will say that um, um, that they're due that the end that they don't reduce my stress level. They increase my stress level. End-to-end testing absolutely uh, reduces my stress level dramatically. Um, like just this process that we're going through, even though it was breaking things, it's just like, oh, okay, everything still seems to work. Like I didn't miss anything. All this stuff is still operating. Um, all right, so 5:05. I genuinely thought it was going to take me three like 3 sessions to get all of these fixed, and it looks like we'll have them fixed here in a minute. I mean, I might be talking too fast. For I viz count. Oh, that's weird. That is what we've got rid of, right? And as you notice, I didn't even like look at my comments, so my comments might actually be wrong now. I think comments are really tricky because it takes a tremendous amount of discipline to um, what'd you drop? It takes a lot of discipline to oh, that's not what I wanted to do. What did I do? Did you do? Did you do? All right. Yeah, I clicked too high up. That's what happened. So that passed. That's my favorite one too. Just gonna run that again just for fun. Just for fun. All right. And so all the unit tests, I mean, all the end-to-end tests are passing now. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this. I mean, I don't know what to um, sort of what conclusion to draw from this, but this is a 23-minute video. I am done with I'm not done with end-to-end tests because I need to add some end-to-end tests but I'm done fixing the existing tests. I am confident that it took me 3 or 4 sessions of unit testing or longer to get all the unit tests fixed that broke when we added the new delete. End-to-end tests just are easier, or it could be me. It could be that I just have so much experience with writing stuff that just keeps the front end from breaking and all that. That just those years and years and years of of experience has made it to where I just naturally write in such a way that the end-to-end tests don't break. And maybe if I do years and years and years of, like maybe in 2 or 3 years, if I constantly do unit tests for this project, I really do think this project is going to run multiple years. And I think a big part of why it's not going to just sort of collapse on itself might be because of the unit tests, because of all the time that I spend on a unit test. But yeah, all those years, I mean, and maybe in a few years I'll write code in such a way that unit tests don't break. They just like I'll just automatically create what are they called? Factory function, predicate factory functions for everything, and everything will just be like, oh, it's just super simple to write the test. I don't have to refactor everything to get the unit tests written. Um, but I'm actually, oh, okay. Yeah, so right now what happens is like if I come over here, I think I can interact with this thing and I click on this. So it would be nice to add deleting. So basically uh, this exact thing and then just start deleting and counting and making sure that they're gone. I think that would actually, but I guess there's no reason to do it on like 16. So I guess we should add like a 0, 0, viz spacing. Oh, 0, 0, 2 viz, I guess is what tests add. So like 0, 0, 7 delete viz. And then basically just have it add 2 vizzes and then delete 1 viz. Oh, and then we also need to test the like, so if I delete this guy and then I come back over here, that this one is gone. And then if I add a new one while reflow check is on, oh, that is interesting. So we got to figure that out. So let's see if that happens. So we may have found a bug that I need to fix. So basically what happened is I added 16. 16 is the most you can add. It's a browser limitation. Browser will not allow you to add more than 16 renderers. Let's see. Let's go to this other view. Actually, I think I might have broke that during unit testing now that I think about it. This is kind of a bummer because this is going to kick off another round of unit testing. So I delete. Actually, but I don't know that I ever tested with 16. And then add. Yeah. So we need to fix this bug. So in some ways, it's like a systemic failure, but in other ways, it's a systemic victory because we found an issue. Let me see. I think it was that tricky code too, where we go looking to see if there's already a visualization and stuff like that. But or maybe it's not destroying the canvas. I'm not sure. It'll be interesting to see what that's all about. Yeah, it's gonna be tricky too. So if I hit add, I think this is kind of what I was testing before. Delete, and then add, and then add. Yeah, see, that's what I was testing, but I think, well, so I don't think we have a limit though. I think that might be also a problem. I don't think we actually prevent them from creating 17. Yeah. See, we allow that, and I think it was just something that I kind of kicked the can down the road to prevent that stuff. But deleting definitely needs to delete. Like I think I can. It's perfectly fine to get away with not limiting the 16, but I don't think you can. I don't think we can get away with it. I don't think it is wise to move forward. All right, so right now I've created 14. The browser limitation is 16. So I'm going to come over here and delete the first 4. And then I'm going to come back. And so now the first 4 are gone. And now I'm going to add 3 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh. Wonder, that was weird. It's weird that that worked. That was really strange that that worked. So apparently the code is in place that does defend against it, that actually does delete them, because when we added more than, or when we deleted more than one, it worked. It just seems to have failed on the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we added 16. Now we add 1. Yep, and then it just added the 1 to the bottom since reflow was on. So that basically moved everybody. But for some reason, if we just delete 1, it seems to break. That's my current guess, is if I add 16, and then I come in here, delete 1, come back here, my 1 is missing, I add 1. What? Over here. Maybe did I, was it the, because it was the first one? Okay, now we're having a hard time reproducing the bug. Okay, so the bug that we found before was when the second one was deleted. All right, so I deleted this one, came back over here, and then when I went to add 1, it's broken. But if I delete the first one, then we'll come back over here, and then we come back over here, and then we hit. All right, so we know how to reproduce it. I now have a little bit better understanding of why I didn't catch it the first time through. And when I did set this all up, I was like, I got it all working, but it's a shit show. You know, the code is a mess. Woo! The code is a mess. Isn't the code a mess, right? Yeah, the code is a mess. So it's a complete mess. So let me go through a process. But I did have a gut feeling that there were bugs in there. But I wanted to get but I felt like everything was in place. So I wanted to get I wanted to get everything sort of cleaned up before I move forward, and definitely the unit test did in fact catch bugs. Like we did catch at least one bug. I think it was a couple bugs in unit testing, and then we but then we did not catch. So we did get this warning. I think this might be just a timing issue though. So we hit delete here. Wow. And then we come in here. Well, let's go put back to this view. And then we hit an add. I don't think we have to go back to that view. Yeah. And for some reason, in that case, when you don't remove the first one, it is missing it. I don't surprise me. Now I am surprised that we didn't get a console log error. Like there wasn't like some kind of like I couldn't find this because of this or something like that. But so we're gonna have to step through that. So I think the plan that I wanted. Okay, so the hope, the little light of hope that I had for at right there at the end was right here towards the end was like, oh my gosh, I didn't have any bugs. I'm perfect. I did so good. I didn't make any bugs at all in that crazy chaotic coding sessions. Man, that's amazing. And then like we did find one during unit tests. I think it was just one. It might have been two, but I think it was just one. And then now we found one during end-to-end testing. So so that's good. That's good. I mean, it's like, but we are at the end of the seventh month. It is July, June, July. Yeah, July 26th. Right now, this is all we've gotten done in all that time. Um, so like the chasing down this bug and getting delete working literally might take out the rest of the year. We might spend the rest of the year doing that. It may be like December 31st when we go, hey, we're done with the delete feature. Now we can start the update feature. Now, hopefully, that once that whole architecture is all laid out and all that, if I do it right, see, the update is going to take forever because, like, I want to take a JSON object, take it out of the application, tweak it, bring it back in, and I want it to validate everything. Not just validate that it's a JSON still, but also validate that all of the values that are in that are reasonable values. Um, and that building that whole scheme out is going to be a pain in the butt. And I'm probably not. I'm probably going to want to be able to also do it in a form. The form is going to be a lot easier, but the first thing I want to do is be able to take a blank text box, text area, paste the JSON in there, pull the JSON out, put it, copy that JSON, put it into a notepad, tweak it, put it back in, and the system update. And there's all kinds of weird issues that we're gonna have to deal with, like with keys, these IDs and stuff like that, that that are going to be really tricky. And it's even when we get that all right, there's still like some more tricks down the road because I really want to be able to, for multiple of these visualizations, to be able to use the same properties so that like maybe I'm showing the exact same visualization in two of these things, but one of them is from a different angle. The camera is in a different place, but like the actual material, the actual um, position, all of that stuff, the animations, all that are identical, so that you can see two of these, the same thing in two different views, differently. Which because there's a ton of different sort of uses for that. One of them is like 3D, right? Like when you want to set something up to be 3D, you want one of them to be slightly different than the other, and then maybe put a barrier in between so your eyes sort of seeing the two different, and then it gives you that 3D effect. Just all kinds of stuff like that that we can do. But anyways, yep. So we got a bug. We got a bug. We're gonna work on that tomorrow. Figure that out. So we're back to step one. Um, Whatever code changes um, will then trigger another set of unit tests, and then those unit tests. It's kind of hard. I almost kind of want to make it like a temporary commit, um, so we kind of lock down where we're at right now, and then I probably will. Actually, I'm going to do that, and that's going to be the first time I've done that in this project too. And it's something I do at work all of the time. So right now we have a very stable set of code. In general, I'm fairly happy with what we have, um, but um, it's broken, and I don't want to make changes. I don't want this stable code change to get lost in the like when I make my changes. I want to have this. I want to have the ability to sort of revert back to this code. It could get a little tricky if um, No, I shouldn't. Okay, so what? Okay, so normally what'll happen is I'll figure out the bug, and then I'll be able to uh, do it. I'll be able to revert the commit, undo the last commit. As long as I don't push it, it's very simple to undo the last commit, and then have and then apply my new changes. So typically I'll stash my changes and then I'll unstash it. Sometimes there's some conflicts and all that when you do that. So anyway, so I'm just gonna say this is how I always do it. I'll say git status, git add. I think I want everything. I don't think we don't have any code that we're like don't do that. That's a config for local. Git status, git commit -m, and then temp commit, do not push, revert soon. So now I'll have this temp commit, and the benefit of that is going to be that when I find what's broken, I don't know why it's not, well, I don't know why these are all red, but yeah, last thing I want to do is push that button. That will push everything up to the server. I do not want this commit to ever exist in the context of the server. So I'm going to do a revert later, and then to go back, and I'll probably do a stash, but like let's say that in the near future, like let's say one of the first changes I'm going to make is like this, hello. Then I can look and see, oh, okay, this was one of the changes. And then let's say I'm like, oh man, yeah, no, I have gone down a road. I've effed everything up. It's all screwed up. I need to get back to where I was. Then it's just discard changes, and I'm back to where I was. And that is what I'm trying to get to. Anyways, yeah, so I feel like I feel good about I knew I had a strong sensation that there was bugs in this. I knew I'd gotten a really good chunk of it working. I thought there was an outside chance that there were no bugs in it, but I had a gut feeling that there was. So I'm glad that like just the natural process shook out the bug. And it is a fairly exotic bug. You've got like I can see why I'd never caught it, because if I go like this, add, and then I go here, delete, and then I go back to here, and I say add, it's fine. But then if I go back to here, and I say delete, and if I go back over here, and I say, oh, I wonder what even happens now. Because the problem is, okay, so I think it didn't actually delete the context. So I don't think I can get to 16 now. Yeah. See, I can only get to 15 because that second one that we did way back then never deleted. And so we got to figure out how that works. So there's some it looks like it's a very subtle, exotic bug deep in the bowels of this thing. And also, like, this is the kind of bug that I think would be actually very difficult. Like, the only time you would ever see it is if you actually add 16, and you have to have deleted one that's not the first one and add more than 16. Like, when does that happen? It will happen, but it's a very, very weird bug. And honestly, I don't think I ever would have caught it without the end-to-end testing. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.